out to your family and friends, whether if they have any ailments, if they really are sick and tired of the conventional way of their health. You got the expert on tonight. This is a once in a rare moment to have this visionary and really master at the game of health on with tonight. So take a moment and start reaching out to everyone you know, get them on, and let's have an incredible Zoom tonight. Yep. 60 seconds. We'll go live in 60 seconds. Take a quick moment and invite your friends and family on. We're going live. Okay. All right. It is 9 p.m. on the East Coast, 6 p.m. on the West Coast, and everything in between. I appreciate everyone joining us tonight. We're not going to keep you long, but I wanted to introduce you to what I believe for me is a lifesaver. I took the time and traveled out to see him personally. I followed him. We were in Dubai where he made the announcement of the pre-launch of decades of work and research. And I can tell you that he profoundly changed my life, right? This is before I got into all the incredible products and peptides that he developed. Just some simple steps. He took me under his wing and he just, in a matter of moments, guided me on a path that has been changed for me. I don't have all his accolades. I want him to tell us about himself real briefly. But many of you know I almost died from COVID twice in the hospital, and I was suffering from long COVID. When I got out, I was on 15 different drugs. I was doing everything the doctors were telling me to do, and I was steadily declining. And it wasn't till I actually took the time, and I got to thank Sean for pushing me to go out and see Dr. Naputi in St. Louis. But he took the time and he gave me hope. Like this situation is gonna end, and I'm gonna give you the pathway to do it. So I want to save all the time for him. I want to introduce my friend, my brother, my physician, Dr. Eric Naputi, the founder and creator of BioLimitless. Go ahead, Doc.
Well, Andre, thank you so much for that amazing introduction. And first of all, I'm just humbled and honored to be here. Those of you that I've had the opportunity to meet know that the number one thing in my heart is service to other people. And we live in a world right now where our healthcare system is a mess, and I'm sure everyone on this call today would agree with that. In fact, everyone across the globe would agree with that. I know because I just got back from spending a month in Asia. I was in Japan lecturing, and I mean, I'm telling you, thousands and thousands of lives were changed by listening to some of the topics we're going to discuss tonight. And look, I'm a physician. I've been a physician for over 20 years now, and I've always worked at getting to the root cause of people's problems. And I'll tell you that it's common sense to treat people with common, simple, cost-effective solutions. And I've spent 20 years plus of my career perfecting that. I've trained doctors how to do the same thing. Hundreds of doctors have gone through my protocols, and we're all about helping people get to the root cause. And BioLimitless came out of frustration. I started creating the concept of biolimitless over a decade ago, and perfected it honestly during COVID. And during the craziness that the pandemic had, it was an interesting time for me and for the world. And I think it really, there's good and bad, obviously, that came with it, but it was a blessing in many ways because now the world is open that there's problems and big problems. And, but there are common sense solutions to those. And I want to share with you just very briefly tonight. I don't want to take up too much of your time because there's so much we can get into, and I want to invite you to come to some of the in-person workshops and seminars we're doing. Look at some of the videos and technologies on our BioLimitless site. Andre can send the product videos out and the overview out, but let's just say that we've got something that's amazing. And I want to share my screen with you guys. Share a little PowerPoint that I've been sharing just a little bit. This is 148 slides. We ain't gonna go over all of it. I'm gonna cover about 10 of them. But I want you to understand and see some of the things that the BioLimitless is all about. You're gonna hear this phrase, self-care is the real healthcare. You're gonna hear it a lot because one thing that has to shift in our broken system is we've got to shift to personal responsibility. And so BioLimitless is not just a product company, not just a testing company. It's a knowledge-based educational company where we're mixing modern day technologies like AI and advanced diagnostic testing with old school processes that work. And we know that our system's broken. I want to show you this first slide because I'm sure many of you would agree with me that we have a serious issue globally. Look at the amount of chronic illness that we have. We've got heart disease and diabetes and metabolic syndromes and mental illness that are higher than they've ever been in recorded history. What if I told you that there were common sense solutions for those problems? Not just for adults, but look at the problems for children. The bottom right-hand side shows the increase in chronic illness among children has drastically been increasing over the last 25 years. And we're spending more time, more money, more energy than ever on sick care, and it's not working. So I've always said if the system's too big to fail, it's time to create another one. I mean, this is just an illustration of our children's health issues that we're seeing in the news today. I'll make sure that Andre has this presentation so he can send it out to you all so that you can see it. Now, listen, I'm not against medications. I'm a physician. Okay, we're taught how to understand medications, but I'm against the fact that we have a very big problem with our pharmaceutical industry right now. And these are just some of the headlines in the news that illustrate that. Look at this. Over the last 10 years alone, the pharmaceutical industry has had to pay over $20 billion in fines for lying to patients, lying to doctors, hurting people, and ultimately killing folks. And again, please understand there's a lot of people that are alive today because of the medications that they're taking, but there's a lot of people that are going to die tomorrow because of the medications they're on. I'm not against medications. I'm against the fact that people don't know how to get to the root cause. Doctors aren't trained on it. Many of you ask me, what kind of physician am I? So here's a slide of my accolades, right? So I've got a doctorate in natural medicine. I'm a primary care provider. I've got a doctorate in chiropractic. I've got a fellowship in neurology, a fellowship in internal health. I'm a certified sports medicine doctor. I've got a master's in clinical nutrition, 3 bachelor's degrees. I've been in and around the healthcare space in a massive way the past almost 25 years. But when people ask me what kind of medicine I practice, I tell them I practice common sense medicine. I'm a doctor of common sense health in a world where common sense ain't that common anymore. And I'll tell you it's not that common because I don't know if you guys remember this, but during the crazy time of the pandemic, I had over 11,000 patients that came to see me in all my clinics. And I consulted with doctors across the world. And nobody in my practice or under our care died. In fact, nobody went to the hospital. We got people out of the hospital. And instead of the US government asking me how we did it, they sued me for $508 billion. This is crazy. I want you to understand that we're up against some crazy information because the reality is that by the way, when I shared this with a doctor in Japan, he's the lead doctor, head doctor of the functional medicine doctors of that region. There's about 1,250 doctors, and he's the head honcho. And him and I had a meeting, and when I showed him this, he said, "What did you do that was right?" And I showed him. How we were helping people with common sense solutions, natural solutions. And by the way, this is a slide of me all over global media. Over 1 billion people heard my message. I've testified in front of Congress. I've been on covers of magazines. I've been on television, radio. Not to impress you, but to tell you that I've been sharing the message of Biolimitless, and over 1 billion people have heard the message of root cause care. And I'm happy to say that after a long, exhaustive battle with the U.S. government, here, by the way, is a medical journal that actually wrote an article about me winning my case against the FTC. And now that same government that tried to destroy me and other doctors like me who are helping people get to the root of their problems, helping reverse chronic illness, helping reverse childhood illness, now that same government has asked me and those other doctors to help them change the way that healthcare is delivered and received. And listen, I don't care what anybody's political beliefs are, because I'm agnostic on the politics. When it comes to healthcare, every man, woman, and child should have the opportunity for full expression of health. And so I've been asked to be a part of the Make America Healthy Again movement, but I'm also taking it global. We have a global vision to not just make America healthy again, but to help make the rest of the world healthy again by giving them common sense solutions to common problems that exist. This is a global mission for me. And I will tell you, I just got done lecturing for the last month in Japan, and the results have been phenomenal. We were able to expose that the healthcare system is a bigger problem than what most people thought. That's what we're educating people on now, and we're helping change policies and insurance policies so that people can have coverage towards things that they need. And you guys would agree that we have a global crisis of chronic disease and metabolic issues, and mental health is higher than it's ever been globally. In fact, it's risen 25% in the last decade, and the American Medical Association, to solve this problem, is trying to get funding so we can build institutions to put people in when we have solutions to help with this. Our system has failed us. We don't have sick care. We don't have health care. We have sick care. We have a toxic food supply. We have contaminated water. If you haven't seen the latest reports that are out, the latest reports are showing that 80% of people have a credit card size worth of plastic circulating in their body. That's leading to heart disease, autoimmune problems, neurological conditions, all the things are happening. And we have solutions to help get that out of the body. And there's a huge report getting ready to come out in the next month from the American Medical Association and the Make America Healthy Again groups that's going to show that the toxins, heavy metals, plastics, and etc. in our food are the #1 causes of inflammation, which are the leading causes of chronic illness. Biolimitless, we have solutions for this. And this affects everyone. This broken system makes people tired, makes people have pain, hormone issues, sleep issues, brain fog, stress, anxiety problems. The list goes on and on. But what I'm telling you is what we decided was enough is enough. The modern system is broken. We must create a better way. If the system's too big to fail, then what do? We build one that's better. And we build a parallel system. And Biolimitless is all about self-care. In fact, I wrote a book about this. Some of you probably have the book. You can get it online. It's on Amazon. It's translated now into multiple languages. It's called Becoming Biolimitless. And the whole idea behind this is to educate people on the history of healthcare. Most people are blown away when they really hear the history of how we got to where we are today. I'm a firm believer that if we don't know our history, we're doomed to repeat it. And not only does this book talk about the history, but it talks about the genesis of how Biolimitless was, how it evolved. And I also give action steps and biohacks for people to help themselves understand that the best practice you can have is understanding something called self-care. So the better you understand yourself, the uniqueness of you, the better you can help yourself, and the less you're going to be reliant on a system that's broken, that quite honestly is the third leading cause of death in America. I don't know if you know that. The #1 cause of death in America is heart disease, Some 700,000 Americans die a year from heart disease. The number 2 leading cause of death is cancer. Some almost 550 to 600,000 Americans die from cancer. The 3rd leading cause of death in America, 300,000 people a year die from what's called iatrogenic death, death from the current medical system, which is crazy if you think about it. And so, again, I'm not against that. I'm against you not having an alternative solution for real health. So I don't want to talk about the products and testing and stuff we have until you understand what health really is. And the reality is that people think that health is all about looking good and feeling good. Health is about functioning well. How many of you know people that look good and felt good and dropped dead of a heart attack? Or how many of you know people that look good and felt good and left their doctor with a diagnosis of heart disease, cancer, diabetes, stroke, something? Well, the reality of it is health is all about a function of your body. How's your body functioning? And I teach this to doctors, and now I'm teaching it to people around the globe. It's a balance of 3 aspects. This is called the triad of health. It's an equally sided triangle. And there's physical health, chemical health, and what's called neuro-emotional health. And if you're out of balance in one of those areas, it's going to throw off the other 2. That's why you could have a physical injury that causes emotional damage. Or you can have emotional stress that causes physical pain. I mean, we all know that they work together, but if you aren't aware of how it works, and if you aren't measuring that, and if your doctors aren't looking at that, then how can you possibly be balanced and healthy? And the reality is you're not. And most of those imbalances come from traumas of life, physical injuries, falls, car accidents, sports injuries, repetitive stresses, sitting too much, emotional stresses, right? Like negative self-talk, the media, being on social media, all these things are emotional stresses on the body. And then the toxins, the air we breathe, the food we eat, the water we drink. I mean, we live in a toxic world, and the average person comes into, hundreds, if not hundreds of thousands of toxins every day that the body just can't deal with. There are solutions for this. But because we live in a one size fits all, take this drug, take this pill, take this potion mindset, which is wrong, it's not working for us, we don't really know what health is. And quite honestly, most of your physicians don't know. And so I created something a while ago. This is this infinity symbol that really BioLimitless is represented by. And if I take this graph, and in the middle of it, I drew a line. You see, on the left-hand side, it says tissues, organs, organ systems, and organisms. On the right-hand side, it says cells, chromosomes, bacteria, and your DNA. Well, my conventional medical training taught me the left-hand side of this equation. And it taught me how to measure tissues. It taught me how to measure organ health. It taught me how to understand the organ systems. And then it taught me how to manage diseases. Not how to reverse it, but manage the diseases. So listen, what happens is doctors are trained to manage your diabetes, manage your high blood pressure, manage your cholesterol, and manage your pain. How many of you would rather manage something the rest of your life? Or if there was an opportunity for you to do some work to reverse it, how many of you would want to reverse it? The answer is the majority of people, almost everybody. But at least you should have the opportunity and freedom to choose. So when I shifted my learning and my thinking about 15 years ago, when I learned that the quality of your health was all about the health of your cells, that changed everything for me. I was frustrated because my patients weren't getting the results that I knew that they could get, because the conventional training I had didn't solve the problem. But when I started focusing on the right side of the equation about measuring cellular health, about improving cell function, about getting the mitochondria in the body to improve, about measuring and managing and treating the bacterial DNA, and then understanding the human DNA, everything changed forever for me. Let me give you a common sense analogy that I think will help you. So if I'm going to build a house, I need raw materials to build that house. I need like the wood, the glues, the straw, the whatever you're going to build the house with. I need the raw material. Then I need workers to take that raw material and put it to work. But then my workers need to read a blueprint. And so I took that common sense analogy and applied it to life and said, okay, what's the fuel? What's the raw materials that the cells need for health? There's specific raw materials that the cell needs for health. We want to make sure that the body gets that fuel. That's the vitamins, minerals, nutrients, foods, etc. How do you know what vitamins, minerals, nutrients, and foods you should eat? Well, you can take a simple genetic test that tells you exactly what your body is programmed to have. And so you got to have the raw materials, but you got to have workers take it and put it together. And inside the cells, there are certain things that are the workers, if you will, of the cells. And the motor, the engine of the cell is called the mitochondria. I'm going to show you a video in a minute that just illustrates the mitochondria so you can understand what I'm talking about. But that mitochondria needs to be stimulated by something. And we use peptides, bacteria, we use enzymes to stimulate that, to turn that engine that sometimes as we get older or the more stress we're under turns down. The peptides we're going to talk about tonight can do that. And then we've got to get the bacteria of the body right, because you have 100 trillion more bacteria in and on your body than you do human cells in and on your body. And we know that if your bacteria is out of balance, that's going to negatively impact human expression of DNA, which can cause depression, anxiety, insomnia, weight gain. It can cause autoimmune issues. It can lead to issues like serious autoimmune problems, even to the point where our immune system crashes, like, AIDS and other autoimmune deficiency syndromes. And so we understand that it's important to have the right stimuli or the workers in the body. Those are the formulas that we're going to talk about tonight. But then everybody needs to have a blueprint of how their life is. And Andre can share with you guys as well the BioLimitless results that he's got through his app and all those. But it tells you, what if there was a simple test that you could do that measures your everything about your body, that you literally, one test can tell you more about yourself than the last 20 years of your doctor visits combined. We have that technology. So let me show you some of these things. Self-care starts with DNA. DNA is your let me get past this slide. DNA is your blueprint, if you will. Okay. And the science of self-care begins with the blueprint of you. Your genes influence how your body handles nutrients, how it responds to stress, how it detoxifies, how it fights diseases. What if I told you there was a simple saliva test that you could take? That's what this is right here. It's a 99.7% accurate. There is no higher quality test on the market. This is not some 23andMe or some sketchy test out there to tell you your ancestor background. This tells you what vitamins and minerals your body should have, how your metabolism is, how your body handles stress, how it handles certain drugs and medications, how much sleep you should have, how much exercise you should do, what type of diet's best for you. Should I fast in the morning? Should I fast in the evening? It tells you over 800,000 data points about you. And by the way, we have tremendous amounts of information. We can go deep with all this stuff on our BioLimitless website. That BioLimitless.com website is an educational website only. There's over 500 videos, audios, papers, science, research, all on there so you guys can explore as much as you want. But when you get these results back, by the way, just so you know, this is the highest level of security that any DNA test is going to have. Number one, everything is autonomous. I don't even have your name attached to your DNA kit. You actually have to link it to your app that you get on your phone, which is this cool little app right here. And then it gives a QR code that links numbers. There is no name associated with it. So we're not keeping your data. A lot of these other companies keep your data and sell your data. Well, in our privacy disclaimer, it shows that we don't even do that. So we're literally in this for the business of helping you learn how to live your life. And it's it is the coolest test you could possibly think of. You literally can go through there, and if, let's say, you want to lose weight, based off of your genetic code, you can type in answer some questions. It'll tell you how many calories a day you should have. It'll tell you the calorie splits, like how much for breakfast, how much for dinner. It'll tell you your macros, how many grams of proteins, how many grams of carbs. Like that it's a nutritionalist all in one app. It also, if you go and you want to figure out your genetic exercise plan, it'll give you an exercise program, and it'll give you videos to follow if you don't know how to do the exercises. So it's a personal trainer as well. And all of the other tests that we're going to be releasing, including blood testing and hormone testing and heavy metal and detox, that all can link to your app. So you will be in control of your own information 24/7, 365. There's nothing like it that's out there. And it's very simple. Here's the user's instructions. It's a very simple deal. But I want to talk to you a little bit about something we refer to as cellular signaling technology. Now, in the human body, I'm going to show you a quick video. In the human body, your cells are powered. In the inside of the cell, there's something called the mitochondria. The mitochondria is the engine. In a minute, I'm going to show you a video that shows the production of something called ATP. ATP is your body taking the fuel it needs, running it through the engine of the mitochondria, and coming out the backside of that is the cellular nutrients that your body needs. And as we age, that mechanism I'm going to show you slows down. And when that slows down, our cells get sick. When our cells get sick, our tissues don't repair. Well, if our tissues don't repair, our organs don't work. So our heart can't repair, our brain can't repair, our liver can't repair, our skin can't repair. We start to look and feel old. It's all about your cellular health, but it's all about that mitochondria. And when the mitochondria shuts down, we get fatigued, we get brain fog, we get slow metabolism and weight gain, digestive issues, we get early aging, and we get hormone imbalances. Now, I'm going to show you a video, and I'm going to speed it up a little bit just for the sake of time. I'll mute it, but I want you to watch this video with me. It's really pretty amazing what this video discusses. So this is something called ATP. This is a 100 million magnification using CGI. Now, this is inside a cell. Your cells are electric, just like a dimmer switch. If you go into your room and you turn your dimmer down, the lights turn down. Well, if we're not producing enough mitochondria, our electrical charge in our body goes down. And if our electrical charge in our body goes down, our cells don't work. And if our cells don't work, our body doesn't work. So literally, we can measure now the voltage of the body. Now, this is a cell, okay? 10 million times magnification. Look at this little purple pink thing that's turning in the middle. You see that? That's the mitochondria that's turning. That's the engine inside the cell. So what happens is nutrients go into the body. They turn through the mitochondria. It takes you through, this whole thing called the Krebs cycle. And then there's all these chemical processes. And on the backside of this, the body produces ATP. ATP, adenosine triphosphate, is the cellular fluid of life. This is what Ponce de Leon was trying to figure out when he was looking for the fountain of youth. If we can get ATP production to go up, we can change the lives and the longevity of humans. But as we get more physical, chemical, and emotional stress over time, that engine, that what you're seeing turn right there, it turns down. And sometimes it turns off. And so then we start getting our charge, our electrical charge of our body. You see how there's a positive and negative charge? Well, what happens is those cells, when they lose their charge, it's like your cell phone battery losing its charge. When your cell phone battery loses its charge, your app don't work. You can't make a phone call. Well, the same thing's true with our body. So the first formula I want to share with you tonight is called cell signals. And you guys can go deep and look at this and see what it does and etc. But the big things I want you to understand is it turns up the cellular frequency. You see, if our frequency of our cells goes below a 30, we die. If it goes below a 50, we can develop cancers. It's supposed to be 70, 80, 90 and above. And so, again, our energy goes down. How many of you, when you're younger, you go 10, 12, 14, 18 hours a day, no problem. Now some of you sleep 10, 12, 14, 18 hours a day, and you're still tired. You get up and go, got up and went, and it's because your cells aren't charged. So this formula has clinically been proven to stimulate what's called the ATP Krebs cycle. It's got a specific blend of amino acids, peptides, B vitamins, and etc. that stimulate that mitochondria. There's nothing like this on the marketplace. And then we added something called BHB to it, which is a chemical mimic of fasting. So I don't know if you understand this, but fasting is one of the healthiest things you can do for your body. Not just to burn weight and detox, but when you fast, it produces ketones. Ketones fuel cell turnover, which means healing new cells, and it fuels your brain. So this formula helps people with energy, focus, concentration. They sleep better. They have more sustainable energy throughout the day. This is something that every man, woman, and child could benefit from, and it's formulated for children and adults. Now, most of my patients will take 3 of these first thing in the morning and 3 of these with their lunch meal. It doesn't have to be with food. It can be on an empty stomach, but taken twice a day in the morning or morning and midday stimulates the mitochondria. You're going to produce more ATP. I'm hearing people say I'm getting more work done. I'm having less pain. By the way, I'm burning fat off my liver and stomach, my organs, and I'm just feeling more vibrant. I had a guy this morning who's a farmer say to me, I haven't gotten this much work done on my farm by myself in probably 15 years. And it's because his mitochondria is now turning on and the energy of his cell is turning up. This is our cellular recharge formula. Now, you guys can go and look at all the science and all the data, and there's just so much information out there, okay? But I want to talk to you a little bit about another formula that we have, and this formula is called cellular reset. This formula, I use a really specific type of what are known as pharmaceutical grade peptides. These are 99.7% pure or above peptides. And a peptide is like a lock and key. A peptide signals the mitochondria to turn on. And there's different peptides that stimulate different cells. There are certain peptides that stimulate bone growth, some that stimulate muscle growth, some that stimulate fat burn, some that stimulate skin repair. We now have the ability to take these peptides orally, and we don't have to inject them. These are nutraceuticals. They're not prescriptions. You don't have to have a prescription for this. And this blend, particularly the cellular reset, is probably one of the most, no, it's the most powerful metabolic program that I've ever put together. And I've been doing programs to help people build muscle, burn weight, and turn their metabolism on for almost 20 years. There's 3 specific peptides in this blend in one little pill. And by the way, I'll show you in a minute, this pill is tiny. It's about the size of a Tic Tac. You take 2 of them in the morning. And 5-amino-1 is a fat burner. So it burns fat off the body. It also stops the production of a specific enzyme that speeds up aging in the body. So your body's going to increase something called NMN and other sirtuin pathways, NAD. It stops the enzyme that shuts down production of that in the body. So it literally helps the body slow down the aging process. It supports fat breakdown without burning muscles. But this one is a big fat burner. So I don't like to call this a weight loss formula because it's not, but this is a fat loss formula. I want you to lose fat, not weight. The problem we're having, a lot of people are using injectable peptides, Ozempic, Wegovy, tirzepatide. They work. The problem is they burn muscle. That's a very big problem. So you end up being a skinny fat guy. And then the problem is when you lose your muscle mass, you get more joint pain, arthritis, and it shuts down your metabolism. Literally turns off your metabolism, which puts you at a higher risk of diabetes, heart disease, cancer, stroke. You've lost weight, but you've lost your muscle, and that's a problem. And it's almost impossible for these folks over the age of 40 to put muscle back on. The second peptide that's in here is called BPC-157. This is a very strong peptide that helps heal not just the gut, which is a big issue that people have, but it heals the cells in the body. It promotes collagen synthesis, which helps the skin look younger, gets rid of wrinkles, but it also helps the muscles and tendons get stronger. They're made of collagen and protein. I use this peptide in my practice to get rid of joint pain, back pain, headaches, to get rid of fibromyalgia pain. Patients that use Tylenol. Do you know that 17,000 people a year die from Tylenol? You know how many a year die from BPC-157? Zero. The third peptide that's in here is called SLUP, SLUPP332. It's known as exercise in a bottle. This peptide literally causes the mitochondria of your muscles and your heart and your cardiovascular system, so your lungs, to turn on. It turns that mitochondria on. And it actually causes your body to improve its skeletal muscle strength and VO2 max. So this formula is a 45-day formula that we pair with something called the 45-day challenge. The 45-day challenge, you can go on Amazon and buy the book, but we have a free download for all of you on 45easy.com. This is a 45-day program. It's 7 simple steps over 45 days. People that are doing this right now, I've got folks that are losing weight, they're gaining muscle, they're getting off medications, they're reducing their pain, they're living a better, healthier life, their hormones are balancing and changing. It's a cellular metabolic reset. It stimulates the mitochondria of the muscles, the heart, the inflammation process to go down, stimulates the liver to burn fat out of the liver, and it stimulates fat burn through lipolysis. Very powerful formula. I'll show you the what the pills look like in a minute. But by the way, this formula, if you go and buy these peptides one by one and inject them into yourself or take them orally, which we have a delivery system that guarantees delivery into the intestine where it's supposed to be. It could cost you between $700, $800 a month to go buy this stuff. Peptides are ridiculously expensive. We've got this formula that's literally a fraction of the price of it. And there's all the science. You can go look at all the science and data. But not only can we help improve metabolic function, build muscle, lose fat, help the body deal with heart disease, diabetes, metabolic syndrome, and etc., which is a very big problem. 1 in 4 Americans has an issue with that. We can also help get the brain to rewire, refire, refocus, and reboot. Now, I've been working on brain health for almost 15 years. And I'm telling you, I'm going to show you a bunch of symptoms in a minute. And all these symptoms are signs of brain dysfunction. But the brain dysfunction is really only coming from 2 things. And by the way, in the last 14 years, we've had an increase in depression, anxiety, and ADD by 400%. And the medical world has no answer. Well, the reason why you have these symptoms is either loss of synapses, which is the firing of the brain, or loss of blood supply. And that's these symptoms here: brain fog, memory issues, mental fatigue, confusion, poor concentration, dizziness, vertigo, ringing in the ears, blurred vision, poor night vision, poor coordination, numbness, tingling, headaches, migraines, mood swings, depression, anxiety, cold hands, cold feet, sleep issues. These are all signs and symptoms of low blood flow and poor synapses. And primarily it's because the brain has lost the ability to produce something called BDNF. This is the growth factor for the brain. As we age, that lowers. Well, we figured out a way to use a specific type of peptide to stimulate the mitochondria of the neurons to get it to spin and turn back on again. And the results we're seeing are amazing. So this is our formula called NeuroReboot. NeuroReboot is a tripeptide formula that is a bioregulator formula that is to stimulate neurological repair in the body. So this is good for all the people that have all those symptoms that we just discussed before, people that have neuropathy, people that have post-concussion syndrome, people that are starting to get neurocognitive degenerative issues. Now, just so you know, 2 of these 3 peptides, tesofensine and dihexa, were studied by the pharmaceutical industries for their benefits for cognitive improvement for patients with Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. And they found that these are safe and effective for that. They couldn't get a patent on it because these are naturally occurring peptides in the body. So they could not turn it into a drug. So thank God we were able to take it, put it into our nutraceutical, and put it in the body. The BPC 157 helps reduces inflammation in the brain and speeds up blood flow in the body. That's huge for brain function. The tesofensine helps support the neurotransmitters of the brain. So dopamine, serotonin, noradrenaline. These are the neurotransmitters that help us feel happy, satisfied, balanced, and human. Well, people are losing those. That's why we have such an addiction problem. That's why people are addicted to their phone, right? That's why sex, drugs, and rock and roll addictions are high, because people are trying to get that dopamine response. Well, tesofensine actually can balance that out from a natural standpoint. And it supports and heightened cognition. It helps, like I said, dopamine, serotonin, and focus. And it really helps the brain produce, there's chemicals that the brain produces to feel full. And most of us lose those chemicals. And when we get stressed out, we eat. And when we eat too much, we have metabolic issues. Tesofensine has been shown to help with the cravings from stress eating by producing those chemicals that help us feel full. That's powerful right there. And then dihexa is the brain restore. It boosts the BDNF that we lose, so it helps the brain repair itself. And it also has been clinically proven to help with something called synaptogenesis, which is the rewiring of nerve pathways in the brain. This one's a unique formula. People, again, I'll show you what it looks like. It's about the size of a Tic Tac. Most people will take 2 in the morning, or some will take 1 with breakfast and 1 with lunch. And what we're seeing is heightened focus, heightened concentration. Man, I'm telling you, my own son, who's 20 years old, said to me, Dad, I wish I would have had something like this in high school and college, because his level of focus now is so much more powerful than it ever was before. And I've helped people get off Ritalin, Concerta, and ADD meds. I've never seen anything work like this. This is truly a game changer, and nothing like this has ever been created before, especially direct to consumer. So we have the neuro reboot form, and again, all the data and research and science supports all of this. It's truly, truly amazing. But we also live in a toxic world. I don't know if you know this, but these are some of the headlines in the news: the food we eat, the air we breathe, the water we drink. It's one of the drivers that's causing us to have so many problems from a health standpoint. We have over 10,000 chemicals allowed in our food supply that are illegal in other countries. When I was in Japan, they only have 1,000 chemicals that are illegal in some other countries. There's a global conversation about changing our food supply, because the stresses we have from toxins are all of these symptoms: neurological, immune, skin, digestive, hormonal, respiratory. The first thing I do when I have a patient come see me is we got to clear out the clutter, because these toxins, if you guys saw this, the average American has a credit card size worth of plastic in their blood. There was a report that just came out. The average man has 8 grams of plastic in his testicles. The new study just came out of Asia that shows that plastics in the heart are causing heart disease. We've got to get these toxins out of the system, and we figured out a way to do that. There's a formula called Detox Pro Plus. Detox Pro Plus, this is my newest formula. I'm launching it the first week of May, so right around the corner. This formula is filled with binders, with fillers, and detoxifiers that help pull out. We've clinically proven, this is our Detox Pro Plus study, that it can reduce microplastics in the body. It can reduce heavy metals in the body, cadmium, lead, bisphenols, all those things. You're going to be hearing about this in the news in a major way. When I talk about hearing about it, you're going to be hearing a lot about the inflammatory issues that are caused by these toxins. We have a solution to pull it out. And by the way, this formula is created for adults and for children. The neuro reboot and the cell reset are just for adults. The last formula I'll tell you about tonight, and then I'll answer any questions if you have any, Andre, is the detox, is our microbiome formula. In our body, we have good bacteria and bad bacteria. And the problem is that 90 to 95% of people have an overgrowth of bad bacteria and some form of something called leaky gut. The father of medicine said all disease begins in the gut. The first thing you want to do to help someone heal is you got to clear out the clutter. You got to get their gut bacteria reset, and then give them the fuel they need to heal. 90 to 95% of the population has something called leaky gut syndrome. And over the last 20 years, I've studied leaky gut, and I've worked on how do we fix it. Well, one of the interesting studies that I've been involved with was studying the blue zones of the world. The blue zones are regions of the world where people live the longest, and they're the healthiest. They're centenarians. They're Okinawa, Japan; Sardinia, Italy; Lena Loma, California; the Nagoya province in Costa Rica. And we're studying these folks. And one of the things we found is that they have certain bacteria in and on their body that we do not have in industrialized areas of the world. And so what we did was we took ancient wisdom and modern advancements, and we made a formula called Master Microbiotics. And what we did was we took the most common bacteria and fungi that are in the regions of the world of the blue zones, put it into a delivery system that gets 99% deliverability to the intestinal tract, which is the target organ. And our newest formula, we've got our original, what I call the Master Microbiotics, the OG formula, the original one, does not have the peptide BPC157 in it. The updated formula, the 2.0 version, has BPC157. BPC157 helps heal and seal the gut better. It's a natural occurring peptide in the gut gastrointestinal system that helps with leaky gut. And all of these bacteria, there's really specific bacteria in here. It's a targeted microbiome colonization formula. They all do certain specific things. And so we have a really unique opportunity with BioLimitless to really focus on the right side of this equation, the cellular health, the chromosomes, the telomeres, the mitochondria, the bacterial DNA, the human DNA, and the detoxification pathway. So we've created some really amazing technologies, and truly the best is yet to come. We have a new test that we're getting ready to reveal to the global community in the next few weeks. That's a little finger prick test that you can do of blood from your home, and it can measure 28 different types of heavy metals in our body. And it can also measure microplastics and all the precursors for that. So you can literally have a measurement that your doctors don't test for. We're getting ready to see a report come out that shows that microplastics and heavy metals are major causes of chronic cellular inflammation, which leads to tissue damage and ultimately organ dysfunction. So what are you going to do to get those toxins out of your body? We have scientifically proven data that supports what we're doing. And imagine if you were able to take a test, put your little blood drops on a little postcard, mail it back to our lab in Houston, Texas, and then within a couple of days on your app, you get a report that shows how many heavy metals are high or plastics are high or whatnot. And then you start the detox protocol for either 3 months or 6 months, because it's going to take some time for your body to clean out the clutter, and then you can retest. And you in real time can see your levels changing. Like we at BioLimitless wanted to create a system that was by the people, of the people, for the people, so that everyone has the opportunity to have full expression of life. Like I don't care what you do with your health. What I care is that you have the opportunity to choose. And most folks have no idea. Most folks have absolutely no idea what health is, nor do they know how to achieve it. What BioLimitless is going to do is give you the map, the keys in the car, and then you just got to drive it. Now, we've got some amazing technologies that we put together for education for all of you, for you to understand how you can help yourself, because self-care is about learning how to take care of yourself. So we have podcasts that we've done on different topics. We have a spot on our website, biolimits.com, that says Ask Dr. Eric. You put your questions in there. I go and I answer those questions, and we put those on our social media platforms, and I put them on our podcast so that everybody can have their questions answered. We also have an AI technology that we've developed. It's pretty amazing. This technology is literally like having a doctor on your app or on your phone. And we've trained it now for over 20,000 hours of input just for BioLimitless. And it's so powerful what we can do with this AI. And if you are excited about some of the formulas, like let's say you're excited about the Neuro Reboot, which, by the way, let me show you this. Most people can't stand taking pills, and most people get pill fatigue. Now, some of our pills are pretty big. They're normal pills. But the Neuro Reboot, you take 2 a day. Look how tiny this is. It's like a Tic Tac, little size of a little triangle. That little powerful peptide, there's 3 peptides in here. That thing stimulates your brain in a way that I didn't even know was possible. Our cell reset, let's say our cell reset formula, that you like this one, and you want to share with folks this guy. Look, it's like a little orangish red star. Look how cool that looks. 2 of those a day is all you have to do. Well, let's say you don't know much about the formula. Well, every bottle has a QR code on it. Click that QR code, it takes you to a landing page. That landing page explains to you, the consumer, what that product is, what it does, how it works, and why you should take it. It also has all the data, all the research, everything that you want to know about it is there. I'm all about truth and transparency. That's what builds trust with people. And all of our formulas have that. So it's a phenomenal system. I told Andre I'd only speak for about 30 minutes. I've gone for over 40 now, so I apologize for that. But I hope you guys can understand. We're taking the show on the road now. There's a road show that we're doing. We're going to be coming to cities near you soon. We have a website that's called BioLimitless Self-Care Reimagined Tour. So if you look up Self-Care Reimagined Tour, it's on our BioLimitless site. You can go there and either nominate your city for a place for us to come, or maybe it's already there. Our North America schedule is filling up quick, and I'm coming to do face-to-face, belly-to-belly, person-to-person events, showing the science, showing the data, answering questions, bringing the formulas, because we need to give people the knowledge that they need. But knowledge is only a piece of the puzzle. Wisdom is learning how to take that knowledge and applying it to life. That's how we change the way healthcare is delivered. That's how we take back our power for health. And I'm telling you, Doctors are now telling us, science is telling us, we as humans can live to be 120, 150, some are saying even 200 years of life. You better be taking care of your cells and everything that involves with that. And the old way of thinking, managing your disease, managing your symptoms, it just doesn't work. It's time to evolve and go to the next level. That's what BioLimitless is all about. So, Andre, I'm going to be quiet and let you have the floor. Thanks, guys.
Well, look, your science and your approach to health is so fascinating. You could talk all night. Like we're sitting on the edge of our seats, just soaking this all up. I do want to take just a couple questions. I don't want to keep you too late because I know
Yeah, sure.
you have a lot going on. What I would like to do is there's a few people that's on that has actually come and seen you face to face.
Okay.
I would like to bring them on real quick, 30 seconds,
Yeah.
and just share their experience of coming to one of your clinics because you didn't talk about the BioLimitless Centers of
Our
Excellence.
ecosystem is big, man. We've got the
Yeah.
direct-to-consumer aspect. We've got the BioLimitless Centers of Excellence clinics we're opening, the telehealth. I mean, we're creating a whole ecosystem for people globally to participate in. You're right.
Yes. So, real quick, just a couple people that come and see you. Raquel, and this is unscripted. I didn't let these folks know ahead of time, but Raquel, if you could give us just 30 seconds of your experience and where you're at with your health now is after you've seen Dr. Naputi. I think your mic is muted.
Good evening, everyone. Hi, Dr.
Hey, young lady. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. You guys, I am so excited to be on this call. The whole time we were talking, I was sending out text messages for people to get on. You guys, I am excited because when I went to Dr. Laputi, I had some questions about my health and things of that nature. And just to make everything quick, when he did the DNA and the scan of everything, and he adjusted my back. Oh man, I'm telling you, I feel amazing. I see high school friends, they be like, "Oh my God, you look so good." And I have products. I had already started doing the detox water and taking the little capsules and just everything. And so I'm excited, Dr. Nabuti, and I'm ready to get on these products because I feel amazing. I am 55 years young. And everybody can't believe it. People I don't know say your skin's so pretty and you look so nice, and I'm just like, I start telling about what I'm doing. And so I told my mom, she's 73 and she's excited about the product. So I'm going to get her started. I got my mother-in-law taking some things, my husband taking some of the master microbiotics. And I mean, we're excited. So thank you so much for what you're doing. I can't wait to get these new products. I'm so ready to order my stuff and get together because I was a person that was on Ozempic and I lost a lot of weight, but I noticed all the muscle that I was losing. And so when you introduced me to, all the products that I'm taking with you and everything is just going on with this whole amazing, opportunity, I'm just so excited. So I just wanted to share that. I'm so grateful that I drove down those 12 and a half hours and turned around and came right back. And I was so excited to get back home. And I'm just loving everything. So I'm just so, so, so excited because I feel good. I feel younger. I just feel great. So I've lost some weight. I'm excited. That's how much.
Thank you. Love it.
Awesome. Thank you, Raquel. And one other person, this young lady traveled with me when we went out and saw Dr. Naputi. And I want her to tell her story real quick. Miss Bren, are you on with us still? Let me see. I think you are. Miss Brenda Hairston.
Good evening. Good evening. Yes. When I went with Andre out to we went out to the St. Louis clinic. The staff was it was open and it was very busy too. A lot of people in, but it seemed like it cleared out. Because I said, "Oh, shouldn't these people be at work?" But there was different ages, and there was even young teenager that also was coming there. They not only, I guess, was in line for the cracking of the neck. Oh, that's what I got, which was That was my favorite part. Yeah, I said, even though my back was hurting, I think, but my neck was really, I think, controlled everything, especially when you did the X-ray and you
Yeah.
could tell me that I had a curve or didn't have the curve. I forgot which
Mhm.
one now.
Yep.
But anyhow, it was different, and just those minor things that pertain to me. That's what I look at. You said to get to know your body all over again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Amen.
yeah, and I am one of those what they say type 2 diabetics.
Hmm.
And so the information that I may have, matter of fact, I'm battling a little. I thought I was doing so well. I had a flare up of gout.
Mm.
So I those uh that's why I'm be happy when everything is online that I
We
can
gotta
go
get you
ahead
the
and order.
enzymes and the master microbiotic. That'll fix that up. It's there.
Right.
It's ready to go now.
Okay, so I'm excited to get to order my new supply.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you.
Other than
All
that,
right.
good.
All right. Excellent. Thank you, Ms. Brand. And I'm going to take a couple questions, but there's one more person on. If Mr. Rabu Gary can chime in, and like he's had some personal experience way beyond what we've experienced with Dr. Mapudi. If you want to share with us, Rabu, your insight of where we're going with
Absolutely, and I appreciate you, Andre, for having me on the call. Dr. Eric, how you doing?
Good to see
Good
you,
to see
man.
you. Look forward to our meeting tomorrow.
Yep.
10
Yep.
o'clock, I'll be on time.
Perfect.
Miss Brenda Harrison and the crew, good to see and hear from everybody. Sorry about the little distraction in the background. Dr. Eric, I just got finished my exercise for the day for my 45 easy, and I'm at
Yep.
the grocery store buying some grapefruits. So that's just my snack. But ladies and gentlemen, wow, do we have something ahead of us? And you know, it's interesting. You know, in the time I've known Andre and some of the folks within the group, all of you have had an opportunity to do something great, be a part of something great. And that's a wonderful thing. So this won't be new to you. Um, BioLimitless is going to take the world by storm if it's not already doing it. And I'm excited for what's happening. Like some of you, I also visit Dr. Eric. You know, had a chance to go to his clinics. Amazing to hear from, talk to some people in there and listen to how well they were doing, and to see it firsthand was just absolutely incredible. Um, I'm currently right now. I'm on day 10 of the cellular reset and the neuro reboot. I feel amazing. I don't like to say this, but I'm down 6 pounds. You know, which is good. I'm happy about that. You know, and it's just wonderful. I feel good. Even my blood pressure's down. I take my medication sparingly on purpose. Because I'm feeling good and it's down. So I'm trying to wean myself off that, which is a very mild dose anyway. But I'm just happy. But more importantly, in addition to being happy and feeling good, the world's going to know about BioLimitless. I know some of you may see me on Facebook. You know, Dr. Eric, very soon, within the next week or so, we're going to be doing a similar
Yep.
webinar like this to the world. You know, I did a video yesterday, was viewed by 3,500 people, which is pretty decent. Well, when I get Dr. Eric on, it'll probably be viewed by 10,000 people. And so, you know, I'll be traveling with Dr. Eric, around the country. I think we have our first event, if everything goes according to plan, maybe at the end of this month. But I'm excited. I'm excited about where we're going. BioLimitless will be a staple in the world. And I can say this from being in this industry for a while. And I'm only 52 years old. I've only been in the industry for 30 years. And I don't say this lightly, but I've never experienced or seen a product like this under no shape, form, or fashion. And it's amazing. And it's doing our bodies well already. But I'm gonna turn it to the money right now. If you want to make some money, if you know how many orders I've already had, because I've been talking about it, you got to talk about it, 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 talk about it. Then people will see you as well, and game is over. They'll start calling you like they're calling me. My inbox is flooded. Hey, where do I get those supplements? And so I don't want to be in the line all night. But I'm just always excited about BioLimits. Dr. Eric, look forward to seeing you soon. Brother
Yes, sir.
Andre, look forward to seeing you and my good friend Ms. Zena soon. So I just want to turn it back over to you, sir.
Awesome. Thank you, bro. And you've always been the Pantamount leader. Like you're not the person standing on the podium. You're in the trenches, and you're using the product, and you're a testament to why we're so successful. So I really appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, sir.
All right. So we're running out of time. I'm going to take two quick questions for Dr. Naputi. Let's keep them brief so we can wrap up on time. We're going to have another presentation tomorrow night just to tell you about the business side and how you can get started. But tonight, I want you to listen to, you heard of how incredible the products are and how they can affect you positively. So get back with the person that got you on, get your order in tonight, and then come back tomorrow night with 5 more people. Let's talk about the business side and how you can make some money off of this. So 2 questions. If you just come off mic real quick that you want to ask Dr. Naputi before he leaves. All right. I guess we did a fantastic enough job. Nobody had questions.
Good. I love it. It's good. It's good.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Naputi. Dr. Eric.
Yes.
I really
Appreciate
appreciate you. You know,
Yeah.
we may even try and figure out bring another group out to see you and stuff. We'll see how that works. But we're looking forward to seeing you out here in the streets.
Yes, sir. Yes,
at
sir.
a live event, and let's just go heal the world. I appreciate you.
Amen.
Okay?
Thank you, guys. It's so great seeing you all, and the best is yet to come. I'll see you all soon. Be well.
Amen. Take
Thank you,
care.
Dr.
Bye-bye.
Prudy.
Yeah.
All
Bye-bye.
right. This call is officially over. Good night.